Lamada. He will be starting soon. Oh, story time with Mr. Lamada, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't leave lonely, won't you start all the reading? I just can't wait to be hearing story time with Mr. Lamada. He will be starting soon. Oh, story time with Mr. Lamada, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't leave lonely, won't you start all the reading? I just can't wait to be hearing.
Good morning, and welcome to Story Time. Thank you so much for joining me. Happy Friday, wherever you are, and I hope that it is indeed a good one for you and your loved ones. Thank you so much for joining us on Story Time. What a week we've had. Wonderful books, fantastic books, and yesterday, of course, we were out with an adventure with Kid McGear and the rest of the construction crew. I hope you enjoyed that, but today we have another quest, and this one takes us on a hunt for sure. This one is Can Sophie Change the World? It says mitzvahs are really powerful, but can Sophie change the world? This one is from Nancy Elizabeth Wallace and illustrations by Aura Lewis. And of course, we're reading it with permission of Chronicle Books of San Francisco. Thank you so much for joining in today. I hope you're ready for this one. I hope that indeed you enjoyed, and I hope that you have a great weekend too. Thank you for being here with us. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Can Sophie change the world? Coming up very, very shortly indeed. And of course, remember too that our special mention today is Tree of Wonder. We were supposed to have read this one on Wednesday, but that's when we had the mix-up, so ended up not reading it, but it is coming back to you next week. So do not despair. Tree of Wonder is coming back from Kate Messner and Simona Mulazani. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime today. I hope that you're ready. I hope that you are comfortable wherever you are. I know that there's rain in parts. There's rain to be actually here in Oakland. We'll be having rain this weekend. And other places it's cold, other places different kinds of weather. I hope that indeed you are well. Thank you so much for joining us on Storytime. And of course, a big thank you too today to Robin Lovell right here in Oakland, sending us this beautiful picture of Lake Merritt, Oakland on the Lake Merritt end of it. Thank you so much for joining in. And yes, beautiful scenes, beautiful city indeed, historic city of Oakland. Thank you so much for joining us today, and glad you are here. Please, as always, let us know you are here. Let us know you're here to enjoy a wonderful book, and of course let us know how you're doing and how the weather is where you are. Thank you for being here with us on Storytime. I am excited to bring you this one today. And of course, remember, too, that you can find Storytime at storytimewithmrlamada.com. You can also find us at Storytime with Miss Lamada on Facebook as well as YouTube. And, of course, you can follow us on Instagram as well. And remember, too, that there's lots happening next weekend. Oh, yes, lots happening. The Social Justice Children's Book Holiday Fair is coming right up December 11th at Tians in Berkeley. Do join us there. And of course, if you cannot make it in person, remember too that you can join us online right here on the Storytime platforms, where we'll be having live programming of the event. So please do join us. And of course, hopefully you can spare a minute or two to enjoy some of the reading, some of the conversations that we'll be having, and of course, some of the sights and of course, sounds at Tians that day, December 11th, 2022. Thank you so much for joining in. As always, let us know where you are and who is joining in with you. Thank you so much for being here with us. And building up to the Social Justice Children's Book Holiday Fair coming right up. Thank you so much for joining in. And today we're reading this one. Can Sophie Change the World? And powerful book. And you're going to see at the end too. Well, let me just put this one up too, because we do have there's an organization called Action for Happiness, and they shared this on their Facebook page. Yeah, just encouraging everybody. December Kindness 2022, and so for each day, try and do a kind act. So something that definitely we want to see, and I'll try and put the links later on too, so that we can try and do that at home as well. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime today. Glad we're here together. Good morning to you, Tara McNamara, and of course Clara and Erin out in Massachusetts. There is frost all over the grass in our lawn. Oh my goodness, the cold is definitely there. And how are you feeling today, Clara? Hopefully you're feeling a whole lot better than yesterday. And yes, sending you positive vibes, happy vibes, and hopefully you continue well. Hope you continue to heal and feel much better this weekend too. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime today. Glad you are here with us. Get ready, get cozy, get comfortable. Can Sophie Change the World? Coming up very, very shortly from Nancy Elizabeth Wallace and Aura Lewis. And of course, Chronicle Bucks of San Francisco. Join me on the other side of this very short break. Thank you so much for being here with us. Absolutely appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I'll see you on the other side.
Have you ever wondered what makes you special? Maybe it's the color of your eyes. Maybe it's something that you can do, like sing. Well, with my brand new book, I See Me, you'll find out exactly what makes you awesomely special. Make sure you keep in touch with me on my social media handles and at Just in Time for Storytime. You're watching Storytime with Mr. Lamont.
Welcome back, indeed. Welcome back. Just in time for story time. So please do join Justin Ford for his readings. Absolutely wonderful, wonderful readings, and wonderful guy indeed. Good morning to you, Sharon Lungo. How are you doing today? And of course, Soraya, thank you so much for joining us on Story Time. I hope that you are ready for our book today. And this one is called Can Sophie Change the World? And Soraya too, just thinking, I'm sure this place looks familiar to you. Yes, Oakland at Lake Merritt. Beautiful, beautiful sight indeed. Thank you, Robin Lover, for your submission. Thank you, thank you. Beautiful, beautiful indeed. All right, here we go. Can Sophie change the world? I love that. Those bookends, really pretty. Can Sophie change the world? This one is written by Nancy Elizabeth Wallace, illustrations by Aura Lewis, and we're reading it with permission of the publishers, Chronicle Bucks of San Francisco. Enjoy. It was a normal Sunday afternoon, except for one thing. Grandpa, your birthday's only 1 week. Yes, Sophie was very excited. What can I give you? She asked. Said Grandpa. I have everything I need. I really don't need more. Something, Grandpa, said Sophie. Something, please. What can I give you? Sophie asks. Oh my goodness, what can Sophie give for a present? Grandpa thought for a minute. I know, he said. You could change the world. What? Is that even possible? Change the world? How? Sophie asked. By doing kind deeds. Give me a mitzvah, a kind deed, Grandpa said. More than anything, that's what I want. Aw, can that be done? That sounds pretty hard, doesn't it? Wow. All right. That night, Sophie was worried. The world was so big. How could she change it? She didn't know. Do you know? But she would try. Oh, that's the spirit. Yes, that night, Sophie was worried. The world is so big. How could she change it? She didn't know, but she would try. No. On Monday, Sophie shared her puppets with Ben, taught Aisha the clapping song, and asked the new student, Evan, to play catch. Oh. Sophie liked being a friend, but she thought, I didn't change the world. Yeah. Sophie has a task. And on Monday, she shared her puppets with Ben, taught Aisha the clapping song, and asked the new student, Evan, to play. Sophie liked being a friend, but she thought, I didn't change the world. How am I going to do that? On Tuesday, when Sophie saw cans on the grass, she picked them up and dropped them off in the recycle bin. Oh. When a baby dropped her stuffed animal, Sophie ran to return it. Sophie liked helping, but she thought, I didn't change the world. On Wednesday, she filled her family's empty bird bath and watered her neighbor's wilting plants, wilting flowers. Sophie liked taking care of things, but she thought to herself, I didn't change the world. What do you think? On Thursday, Sophie played with Sari so Mom could paint. That made Mom smile, and Sophie too. But she thought, I didn't change the world. This seems like an impossible task, doesn't it? On Thursday, Sophie played with Sari so Mom could paint. That made Mom smile, and Sophie too. But she thought, I didn't change the world. Then came Friday. Sophie worked with Mom and Dad in the community garden. Sophie liked giving some of the vegetables she helped grow to people who needed them. Still, she thought, I didn't change the world. I'm not giving Grandpa his present. Still, she thought, I didn't change the world. When Sophie got to Grandpop's on the weekend, she ran to him. Grandpop, I tried. I did lots of mitzvahs. I really tried, but I couldn't change the world. I really wanted to. Grandpop looked at her very seriously. Tell me about your mitzvahs. Well, she finished. When she finished, Grandpop's eyes were twinkling. Sweetheart, every mitzvah, every act of kindness, big or small, makes a difference. If you hadn't invited Evan to play, he would have felt left out. What if you hadn't found the baby's stuffed animal? She might not have been able to sleep without it. And watering your neighbor's wilted flowers, well, that was a double mitzvah. Yes, when she finished telling Grandpa, he said, wait a minute. His eyes twinkling. Sweetheart, every mitzvah, every act of kindness, big or small, makes a difference. A double mitzvah, she asked. Yes, you kept the flowers alive and blooming by giving them a good long drink of water, and you helped your neighbor by watering her flowers while she was away. Oh. Double mitzvah. Grandpop gave her a big, warm, snuggle hug. Acts of kindness, big or small, are how we change the world. Do you see that your kindness made our world more giving, sharing, blooming, caring place? Grandpa gave her a big, warm, snuggle hug. Oh, that sounds so good. Acts of kindness, big or small, are how we change the world. Do you see that your kindness made our world a more giving, sharing, blooming, and caring place? Suddenly, she did. And then Sophie had an idea. Oh, what could be Sophie's idea? Yes, indeed. First, they cut out shapes. Then Grandpa glued while Sophie wrote. They worked together. What are they making? What is this big idea? Oh, let's see. Oh, happy birthday, Grandpa. They made that beautiful flower. And it has all the different mitzvahs that Sophie did. Playing with my friends, watering flowers, working in the garden, helping my neighbor, giving birds a drink. What's the other one? Recycling. Playing with my little sister, making a new friend, sharing my puppets, and giving the ball back to the baby. Oh my goodness, all those wonderful acts indeed. Deeds of kindness, mitzvahs, each one of them very important. This is a perfect birthday gift, say Grandpa. You and your mitzvahs make me so happy. Sophie felt happy too. She wanted to do more and more and more mitzvahs. Now Sophie knew how to change the world. I hope you do too. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. Absolutely love it. And here's the author's note too at the back. It says, when I was growing up, my mom was my role model for being caring and kind. She was always looking to see if someone needed help, a meal delivered, a listening ear, or to be included. When I feel helpless and get to worrying about how I can change our world to make it better, I remember my mom showing me that even a small act of kindness can make a big difference to someone else. And in so doing, and in the doing, my own heart becomes happier too. Thank you, Mom. Thank you for your lasting gift. And I hope that we remember that too as we go in today's world. I remember my mom telling me, and this is what it says, even a small act of kindness can make a big difference in someone else's life. And of course, by so doing, our own hearts become happier. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime today. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you on the other side of this short break. Thank you for being here with us on Storytime.
I'm Meenal Patel, and I am an artist, designer, and the author and illustrator of Priya Dreams of Marigolds and Masala, and you are watching Storytime with Mr. Lamada.
Welcome back indeed. Thank you so much for joining in today. That was our book for today. A beautiful one indeed. Can Sophie change the world? Beautiful, beautiful, powerful book. And that just also when I was checking out the Berlin Public Libraries. Thank you, Sarah Forster. In fact, I must mention this. When I was checking out this Berlin Public Library, Berlin, Massachusetts Public Library, they had this event that they had posted, and I thought we should share it here too on Storytime. And I will try and share the links later on so people can access that. So you can try to, like Sophie, do your own acts of kindness in December. Do your own mitzvahs this December. And you can see there for one, it says spread kindness and share the December calendar with others. Yes. So we're here. That's step one. We're sharing this calendar. So I will share the links to print it out, share it with friends, and see how many you can get through, right? Thank you. And then too, of course, there are others in there that we can try, and it goes all the way to the 31st of December. And tomorrow you might want to try out, or today you might want to try out, it says contact someone you can't be with to see how they are. Absolutely. Always powerful, always wonderful. So please do check that one out. A powerful one indeed. And yeah, just to continue from our book, Can Sophie Change the World? And that image that I shared can be found at if you wanted to check before I share on the Storytime platforms, it's Action for Happiness. They're the ones that have put this out, and I got it through the Berlin Public Library in Massachusetts. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime today. Glad we were here together. Another wonderful story. Oh, so beautiful. This one coming to you from Chronicle Books. And yes, Nancy Elizabeth Wallace and Aura Lewis. Thank you so much for sharing this wonderful book here on Storytime. Can Sophie change the world? We saw how Sophie was able to do that. Thank you so much for joining in today. Tara McNamara, thank you for being here with us. Clara and Erin, sending you love, 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 and hugs. Thank you so much for joining us out there in chilly Massachusetts. I hope that indeed you do have a wonderful rest of the day. Yes, sending you grandpa-like hug here. What was it? Let me see if I can find it. I just loved it. It just sounded so good. Thank you so much for joining in. It says grandpa gave her a big warm snuggle hug. Yes, sending everyone out there a big warm snuggle hug from Storytime here, a Friday special. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. Absolutely appreciate you. Good morning to you, Soraya. And of course, Sharon Lungo, thank you for joining us. Happy Friday to you. I hope that you have a wonderful time, a wonderful day today. And of course, too, remember that it will be raining out here in Oakland, so please be careful as you're driving out there. And also remember to carry your rain jackets, rain boots, if they are handy, if they are available. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. Amanda West, how are you doing today? Sarah and Nathan out in breezy Illinois today. Thank you so much for joining in. Hello this late morning, but wishing all a fabulous, fantastic Friday. Absolutely fabulously fantastic Friday. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate you, and good you're here with us, and I hope that you do have a wonderful day indeed. Thank you for joining in today. Sarah and Nathan, good to see you here. And of course, Amanda West, thank you so much for joining in. This has been Storytime for this week. This has been Storytime for today. Happy Friday, says Susan. Well, Susan, sending you hugs. Thank you so much for joining in, and absolutely appreciate you. Susan, I also did send a message to your Facebook. Please check it and get back to me. Thank you so much. Good morning to you and welcome to Storytime. Thank you so much for joining in. I hope that you enjoyed today's story. This one is called Can Sophie Change the World? Yes. Says mitzvahs are really powerful, but can Sophie change the world? And we saw Sophie's adventure. We saw Sophie's quest. How did she do? Nancy Elizabeth Wallace and Aura Lewis. And I know that Sophie says, even though the task felt impossible, felt hard, she says, that night, Sophie was worried. The world was so big. How could she change it? She didn't know. But you know what she would do? She would try, and try she did. Thank you so much for joining in, friends. Absolutely love it. And remember, too, a big thank you today to our friend Robin Lovell for this wonderful submission. Beautiful picture. For those of you that are not familiar with this place, this is Oakland by Lake Merritt. Yes, Oakland by Lake Merritt, right close to where we are. Beautiful downtown area. And yes, So that is a beautiful submission from Robin. Please remember too that you can submit your own pictures, send them to me, and we'll definitely bring them here so we can showcase all the different places. But yes, that is Oakland right there. Thank you so much for joining in. A big thank you to you, Robin Lover, for that wonderful picture. Please have yourselves a wonderful, wonderful day. And remember too that this week we were supposed to have read the book Tree of Wonder, but instead we'll bring it back next week. So please get ready for that one, and do go to this Daily Motion and find that video, and I will repost it again in the comments so you can find it, watch it, and then as we come to read the book, it will make more sense. So find that video too, and then of course next week we get to read this book together. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime, and remember too that the Social Justice Holiday Book Fair is happening. Social Justice Children's Book Holiday Fair. I can never get that name right unless I'm looking at it. It's happening at Teans. Join us. Meet all the different creatives that will be out there. See all the different books, gift ideas for the festive season, and of course, just fun with me and the rest of the crew. So please come and join us. And of course, if you're tied up somewhere else, well, you can still join us on the Storytime platforms for all the programming that will be happening. We'll be right there at 10. So if you're there, please be sure to say hi, and maybe you'll be part of our presentations. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. This has been Storytime for this week. This has been Storytime for this wonderful Friday. Yes, let's try some of these. Let's try these kind acts. Let's try this challenge. Let's try to do some kind acts. And thank you to Action for Happiness for creating this. And of course, Berlin Public Library for bringing it to my attention. And of course, here we are sharing it with everybody else. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. Have yourselves a wonderful day. And of course, to everybody that was joining in, Susan, Amanda, Sarah, and Nathan, Sharon, Lungo, Clara, and Erin, Tyra, McNamara, everybody that is joining us later on for the recordings, please enjoy yourself. Please have a wonderful weekend. And of course, come back right here for more stories on Storytime next week. We'll be here together. Thank you so much for joining in. Much love from me. Hugs. And I'll see you again on Monday for more Storytime. Bye-bye.
Storytime with Mr. Lamada. He will be starting soon. Oh, Storytime with Mr. Lamada, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't leave lonely, won't you start all the reading? I just can't wait to be hearing Storytime with Mr. Lamada. He will be starting soon. Oh, Storytime with Mr. Lamada, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't leave lonely, won't you start all the reading? I just can't wait to be hearing. He will be starting soon. Storytime with Mr. Lamada, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't live lonely, won't you start all the reading? We just can't wait to be hearing. Brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't live lonely, won't you start all the reading. I just can't wait to be hearing